Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino. Sit down and re-freaking lax. We got to talk. It's just, you know what? It's almost too much. What am I talking about? Hold that thought for a moment. Let's peer over at the market today. An extremely volatile day. Stocks were all over the place. At one point, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down around 434 points. We finished down lower, but not by much. The Nasdaq flat, nothing going on with the S&P 500, a little slightly negative. But it's insane when you hear or see the same thing over and over again. I'm talking about the Federal Reserve. They're playing their same freaking game. What am I talking about? You know already. And you're probably watching this today if you're paying attention to the mainstream. They're doing what they always do. They're floating out this freak to say one thing. That was Bullard. Again, Fed President Bullard has been floated out lately, today too, to talk about how the Federal Reserve is really, really concerned about skyrocketing inflation. And the Fed should be very aggressive raising rates. Okay. Then what do? Then they float out another Fed president to say, being aggressive here. This was Fed President Daly. She came out and was like, okay, well, maybe not. Maybe if we're too aggressive, it's going to not be so good for the market. Okay, so this is the game they always play. It's this kind of, off balance, kind of twisted game. And then what did they do? Why did the Dow Jones Industrial Average at one point fall over 400 points? Because they floated out another one. Esther George, the other thing. Well, it might as well be Boy George. I don't even know what that thing is. I think it's supposed to be a woman. Anyway, it don't matter. So this freak comes out explaining that the Federal Reserve needs to lighten up its balance sheet, sell some assets. I'm rolling on the floor. I don't know about you, but I'm rolling on the freaking floor. Ain't gonna happen. While we're on the topic of the Federal Reserve, you have heard me explain to you, I don't know how many times, that when the Federal Reserve says one thing, really honestly expect them to do the opposite. What they say and what they do are totally different things. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about yet again. This is, it's laughable, 6-month chart. 6 month of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet with like $9 trillion here. What do you notice? Straight up, pretty much here. How about that taper? How did that work out for everybody? Never happened. Never happened. Okay, so when the Federal Reserve says they're going to do something, they're not going to do it. Or expect the polar opposite to occur. But that doesn't stop the game that they always play. People, if you've been in this market for any length of time, and when they have some kind of a monetary decision coming up, they do the same thing. They play the same game. And they want people to believe that this is just by chance. It's not. Again, when they float out this freak to say one thing, they invariably float out another freak to say the polar opposite. This is the game they play. But you and I, you see, we can see straight through it. It's dog shit, wrapped in freaking cat shit, sprinkled with bird shit, doused with horse freaking manure, and everything else you can think about. And then maybe set on fire, sprinkled with gasoline and then lit up. I don't know. But that's the game. That's the way it's going. But let's look at some other things here, okay? Like I said, a volatile day for the market, but nothing really happened. What did the 10-year yield do? We came up, 10-year yield around 2%. Now, people, I'm going to tell you this again. I firmly believe that when all this shit just plays out, we will end up with a 10-year yield settling over 2%. I'm not sure exactly where, but it's not going to be anything dramatic. And the market's going to literally be orgasmic over it. Orgasmic, okay? Today, we had a knee-jerk higher in the dollar. I don't want to say a fear trade, but a little bit of fear. That's why we had this volatility today. I think you understand that. The MMRI, Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, it's in the yellow. We're about 119 the last time I looked at it. Again, people, please realize what you're looking at. This is not a crash indicator. It's telling you risk. It's very sensitive as well. It was higher than that earlier today. So risk in this market is higher. It's not dangerously high. Doesn't mean there's no risk. Should you be hedging your portfolio? Look, I really think that's a debate you need to have with yourself. Why would I say that? I personally have a very high risk tolerance. Okay. I don't worry really about what the market's going to do from a day-to-day basis. I no longer day trade. I don't even really swing trade anymore. What I do is I'm buying the market, long positions, large cap dividend paying stocks, trading around them, generally selling puts onto the market, which are way out of the money, and I'm just collecting the premium the whole way. So I'm just kind of sitting pretty here, and of course I am in a lot of other assets as well. But that's how I play the market. Now, anyway, with regard to hedging your portfolio, if you sincerely believe there's going to be a shock to the system relatively soon, you can capitalize this in many ways. Protective puts and calls on energy, crude oil. There's all kinds of fancy things to do. But I don't know. Like I said, you got to evaluate your current situation, how you feel, or how you're able to deal with risk and a potential shock to the market. Now, anyway, even if we do get some kind of shock to this market, the way I have explained to you for a long time, being in risk on and risk off assets at the same time, that should let you sleep at night okay. All right, gold and silver today did very, very well. And this is what I'm talking about. So we had a market today that, fell under a little pressure, but we had, if you were in the stock market, let's say, as well as gold and silver, well, you're doing okay. Cryptocurrency is still around the flat line. Bitcoin like 42,000. This is why I say to you, you got to kind of shock proof your portfolio in the event, for example, that bullets start flying over there. Let's just say, okay, whatever. I think it's all bullshit and dog shit, and you know that. It's just nothing but an arms deal in disguise. They can't tell you. Imagine, for example, if President Retard were to tell you, okay, everyone, I don't know how to tell you this, but we need to borrow more cash into existence in an enormous way, just to keep the debt-based economic model going. And to do that, well, we're going to stage an event over in the Ukraine and Russia. We're going to have troops go to the border, and we're going to arm them, and we're going to send them millions and millions and freaking tens of millions of dollars of weaponry, courtesy of you. But don't worry about it, because you see what we're going to do is replenish our old stockpiles of weapons and move other military equipment around. But who's going to pay for it? Well, we don't have any money. The United States is broke. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the Federal Reserve lend it to us. Imagine if President Retard were to do that. You see, he can't do it. No president can tell you the truth. They cannot tell you the truth. Some presidents might even go out of their way and have to tell you in a roundabout way or directly that we need a weaker dollar. Oh, the Federal Reserve needs to go negative with rates, and this was Trump. Anyway, look, however they're going to do it, they're going to do it. The freaks. Understand? These freaks, they're just effing freaks. You know that. And I never curse. I never curse. Really don't. I never curse. And that wasn't really a curse, effing. It's not even a word. Anyway, people, look, I think you get it. I really, really do. So let us move forward here. Right now, as I said in the video I did this morning, the market is kind of gripped with uncertainty. And it's being kept there for a reason, okay? Not only the uncertainty with what may or may not happen with the arms deal that's going on over there, that's going to cause nations of the world to weaponize themselves, to arm themselves, to borrow from their central banks, to suck it right out of you. Not just that, but uncertainty with what the Federal Reserve is going to do. We already know what they're going to do. Did they taper? Did they taper? How about no? Will they decide to aggressively raise rates moving forward? Absolutely freaking not. Will the market get off, and I mean sincerely get off, on a rate hike? Yeah, I think it's going to. I really sincerely do believe that. And let's see if I'm right. When that does happen, it's going to happen. The Fed is keeping this in their back pocket. They could have done it the last FOMC meeting. You know that. But they're keeping it in their back pocket. And they're going to do it at the right time. And the market's going to go up. Now, again, with uncertainty, you got Fed presidents. What they always do invariably, and it never stops, they send this guy out or this thing out. They send out another thing. And then they reverse it, and it goes back and forth, and the market gyrates. The market is very sensitive. Okay, like I told you, is a demented child in many ways, and it doesn't know how to deal with anything really well. So it kind of gets into these kind of modes. But in my view, I don't give a damn that the global economy is in free fall. I don't give a damn that the shit is hitting the fan from a market standpoint. Market don't care. The market don't give a damn about nothing. Okay, all it cares about is really all the crap that's going on, the easy money that's not going to stop, the tapering that never happened. It's all it all cares about. Again, people, look, we are in the middle of a wealth transfer effect unlike we've ever seen in the history of the world. Okay. The lies and the dog shit. Oh, yeah, we're going back to socialism. This is socialistic. No, it never was. But a lot of you, millions, tens of millions of you bought that lie. The wealth always, invariably, and will never stop going up. When will you all get through your freaking heads? You're going to get lied to. You're going to get misdirected. You're going to get told to look here when you should be looking over there. They got you by the throat and they got you by the you-know-what, okay? Because people easily are manipulated. They fall into the trap time and time and time again, and they will never stop. You see, people tend to need to believe in that some human being is not just human, but maybe superhuman, like some kind of deity, okay? And they put all their faith in that individual, whether it may be, more than likely, it's going to be the leader of a nation. How many nations throughout history have gone down, literally got erased over a situation like that? You got to stop. I know that's not you if you follow this blog, because you're an outside the box thinker, okay? But just realize that you're in an environment of people who are brain dead. And they're easily manipulated. They don't know what to do with anything because they're being kept off balance, like the Federal Reserve's game, by design. They're kept in a state of constant fear, and it rules their entire lives. And it's a terrible thing to see. All right, people, look, this guy here loves you a lot. I mean it. Important video. What do you think of this? Just tell me. What do you think of this? Oh, you think I made this up? Because some people write to me all the time. Oh, Greg, you just made that up on your computer, really? How about going to the Federal Reserve's website, go to their balance sheet, 6 months. Oh, yeah, I did add that red line and that circle. But you don't need those things to see what I'm talking about. You understand? No, I don't make this shit up. But there are people that believe I do. Good for them. They're retarded. Love you a lot. See you in the morning.